got like 3 hairs that hang on her head.
There's tufts.
And then she's laughing like, oh my God, isn't this great? And then she goes, and check this out. And then pulls her boobs out. And they're a fake, like, instead of like cutlets, they're a fake set of boobs. And she goes, they're not even the right color.
Yep.
And then she goes, and check this out. Stands up. Fucking ass falls out of her ass. You're not going to believe that. And then she goes, but here's the best one. Fucking pulls off her leg and throws it at him.
Yep.
And then he goes, okay, I think I'm done here. And then she gets up and hops after him.
Yep. We never see Cherry again.
No.
That's it for Cherry.
Yeah. Comes back and just goes, well, that was fast.
Well, he sits down, grabs the whiskey, fires it back.
He's like, that was fast. Yeah. I couldn't wait to get out of there.
Yep. You have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
So One-Eyed Sam shows up and he's got the hardware.
He does.
And then we find out that both Jack and One-Eyed Sam, who were both in the military, were just both secretaries.
Yep.
And they have, like, badges for...
And he's like, well, what are all these medals for? He's like, well, this one's for typing.
They both have one for surfing.
Yeah.
And there was a weird joke that died halfway through the movie of every time you'd meet a new character. So when Jack met Slade and when they went to the bar to meet the bartender to ask for One-Eyed Sam, they started the conversation with, "You ain't selling No Way products, are you?"
Yeah. And then it just disappeared.
I don't know what a No Way product is.
I have no idea. That's something that I'm guessing is 70s and 80s, and I have no idea.
I'm like, that went right above my head.
I got no idea. And it didn't last through the whole movie, which is weird.
Yeah. So they have to get a group together. Mm-hmm. No, wait, this is... Because at this moment, I was still like trying to figure out if they were brother and sister. Because they have a flashback, Jack and Cheryl, of when they were at the Soul Train dance.
Yeah,
and they like beat everyone up. With
they
dancing.
knocked everyone out while they're dancing by accident.
And then they come back to the scene, and then they start to look at each other. Then
they start longingly
to kiss.
Yeah,
and then they lay on the bed, and it fades to black. And I'm like,
ew,
like scrambling through my notes, checking the thing, going like, they're not what, but it said Cheryl.
Yeah,
but then I realized, okay, wait, no.
She said widow at the beginning. It's such a throwaway line, you don't pay attention to it, and that's sort of our fault.
Yeah,
because I had the same problem.
Because I'm like, ew. I
didn't get as far as you did because I remembered it like fairly early on. But when it was when they were looking at each other longingly. I'm like, wait, no, she said widow, didn't she? Okay, no, she was married to the gold guy. Gotcha.
So they got to get a group together. So Slade's got to go to his old crew of Hammer and Slammer, who are working at a rib joint or own a rib joint.
Yeah,
this is where Chris Rock comes in and asks for one rib.
Yeah, it's like how much for a rib, and he's for an order of ribs, and it was like $5. I'm like, fucking $5? Hell yeah,
damn yeah.
And actually, no, it was like $2.50.
The Coke was $1.
Yeah. Well, he's like he's like, how much for the ribs? And he goes, I'll take one order. No, one rib. He's like, how much for a Coke? And he's like, $1. And he's like, well, how about if I give you 15 cents for a sip? He said, my cups are worth more than that. He goes, okay, I'll give you 10 cents and you pour it in my hand. And then eventually he's just like, give me my money and get the fuck out. And then he just sort of goes, all right. And then he pulls out a big giant wad and goes, you got change for 100. And then he like threatens to kill him, which is fair.
They come in. Come on, guys, let's...
We got a rib joint,
they're
man.
Like, we're old.
Yeah.
My feet hurt.
And then, basically, they just sort of agree to it. For, I can't remember which one, Hammer or Slammer, just goes, you know what? I haven't killed anyone in a long time. Maybe we should do this.
Yeah, that was Hammer.
Yeah.
Because he was the more violent one. Because Slammer's feet hurt.
Yeah, that's right.
So, that's not all. He's got to get, we're getting a whole gang of people here. Because he goes to jail to get Fly Guy. Because Sue's about to get out of jail. And he's just like, well, why would you want the criminal on your side? Because he was a pimp. He was Pimp of the Year. There was a whole flashback of him winning Pimp of the Year.
Flashback to him being the Pimp of the Year, which is great.
And it's literally like a pageant, like a beauty pageant, but for pimps.
Yeah.
And I like...
It's kind of like that Chappelle sketch. Where it's like,
although it took it one step further because all the other contestants were literally in Speedos.
Yep.
Except for Fly Guy,
who was in a full still suit. In his suit.
Because this is where we get Hammer and Slammer driving into town, getting accosted by squeegee people.
Yes.
This is where we get Slade walking, and we get the band behind him. And
he's just like, who are they? They're my band.
That's my theme music.
Yeah, when you're a hero, you have to have theme music. And they're literally just walking by, playing the tune. I'm like, this is genius.
So I guess Fly Guy was in jail for a little too long,
Mm-hmm.
because when he literally pimps out of jail
Yes.
in the flyest of
Yes.
suits
So
with goldfish in his platforms,
I did research on that.
living goldfish.
I did research on that. I'd heard about those things, but I'd never found out
Like
if they were
platform
true.
shoes
With goldfish that
with
you can
gold.
put in it.
Yeah.
I never found out if they were true. They are true. That did exist. However, the people used to think that they were sealed in there, so they only had a short shelf life. No, because the goldfish would have died before they got to the store. It was a small boutique. That's why nobody can find pictures of them, because it was a very small boutique, very small amount. They had a little like pocket in them, so you could actually refill it. And the idea is you would fill it with water, put your goldfish in it, go out for your night of dancing, and if your goldfish survived the night of dancing, which is very unlikely, you can put them back in the bowl and you move on with your day. However, most people didn't actually fill them with fish. They filled them with like marbles or confetti and stuff that like shone all over the place. I would have put Kool-Aid in them. You know, just bright ass red Kool-Aid. That's what you do. But
In case you got thirsty.
no, just because they look fucking flashy and fly.
Because it'd be funny if like you just stick a straw and just like, well, one second.
I mean, would you drink shoe Kool-Aid?
If you keep the inside of the shoe clean.
That's a good point. All right, so you'll never you'll never be dehydrated.
It's like a glass.
Yeah, that's true.
You're walking on a glass,
Yes,
basically.
but yes, those shoes actually did exist.
So I say he spent a little too long because when he does pimp out, time has passed him by.
Everybody just starts laughing at him.
And it's clearly like ADR.
Yes, yeah, none of them are actually laughing because, again, as I mentioned in our Batman and Robin episode, they would have to pay any of them that said anything. So they're not. They're paying them as extras to do nothing and mime it.
And he's just literally, at this point, trying to run away from everyone because he's embarrassed and his shoe starts to break.
Yeah, he breaks one of the fish shoes.
Yeah, so just time has passed him by, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So we get Jack, Hammer, and Slammer and Slade.
Mm-hmm.
And one more man, Kung Fu Joe. She's literally what you think it is.
Yep.
It is a man who is a Kung Fu stereotype.
He's dressed like Bruce Lee.
Yep. Master Lee.
Master Lee.
But not for his career.
Well, hang on. That was one of the best things because he's just like what they did to Master Lee. And he pulls out a giant picture that he has under his shirt in a chain. And she goes, oh, he's like, you're Kung Fu? Oh my God, you learned Kung Fu from Master Lee? No, acting. And he puts it away. Like, this is genius. But he does everything, like everything he does is now Kung Fu. So every time he like moves, it's just, whoa, 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 and he moves in like a
Was he
Kung
talking?
Fu thing.
Was he talking and his lips weren't synced?
No, he was doing that on purpose.
Okay.
They didn't ADR everything he said, but he was doing it in a way where it looked like he was. And like even if he's pushing like an elevator button, he's attacking the elevator button. Like it's just this man is fucking genius.
So the whole plan to take Mr. Big down,
Yeah.
start with his businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And you start at the top,
Yes.
which is the Big Brim Bar. And what is the Big Brim Bar, you ask?
Place I want to go.
Well, it is a bar where everyone has to wear a comically, and I mean comically large hat.
And every single shot of different people throughout the scene, the hats kept getting bigger.
Yeah.
And they walk in and the
So picture the SNL Celebrity Jeopardy with Burt Reynolds, and he's like, "Where'd you get that hat? That big comic large hat he's got? Picture that, but like double."
Yeah, it's very large. But like they try to walk in, and the bouncer's just like, "Hey, you can't come in here without a big hat." And then they pull out guns and go, "Yes, we can."
Well, their guns are big.
Yeah, that was big enough.
One man's hat was so big he had a person in there with a trapdoor to assassinate
Yes,
Hammer or Slammer or Slade or one of them.
all of them.
And then they shoot the guy's hat and the guy falls out dead.
Yeah.
This is where these little people thing pays off because Tony Cox is there, who's part of it.
Yeah.
And Jack starts beating the shit out of him. This is for when I was 7, you son of a... Look at me, you can't beat me up now, can you? And then they have to like literally drag him out.
Yeah.
So they just mess up the place in general. They also mess up a couple of other businesses.
Yeah.
To where Mr. Big is not happy with that. So Cheryl's taken.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hard for them to do it.
What the fuck was this?
So Cheryl has to leave work because she's got cramps.
Uh-huh. And she's like,
You know,
oh my
the
god, I got
Midol
cramps in
and
the
the
back.
whole thing.
She's got like Midol 2000, which is
Yeah.
hilarious.
So she's leaving work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the whole, you see her legs, you see the bad guy's legs, you see her legs following each other, following each other, following each other. It's Leo.
Yeah.
He grabs her, turns her around, going, "You come with me," and she turns into a fucking demon.
She's just
Like she's fucking Zool.
And he's just like, my god, you got a demon in you. No, I've got cramps.
Like, Jesus.
Like, fuck, okay.
And she like holds him up to the thing, and he's screaming like a girl. And then Willie shows up and knocks her out.
Yeah.
He's like, "Man, I could have handled that." I'm like, well, "What was all that girl screaming about? Willie, Willie, come help me. Come get her off of me."
Still
Man,
could've.
I
He still
had
could
it.
have. Yeah, I got this.
It. So they take her. This is where Mr. Big stores are taken out. So then he's got to take out the crew.
Mm-hmm.
He starts with Kung Fu Joe. So some cops pull him over.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously on some bullshit.
Yeah.
Look what we found here. You know, like planting.
Yeah,
stuff.
they basically. So I like this. This is a joke that was falling a little bit by the wayside. So they open the door to take him out. And this was huge back then, where it's just like the car door just says the door is ajar.
Yeah.
And as they're like searching him and everything like that, the door is ajar. The door's friggin' open. You might want to do something about it. And then eventually it just turns into like the sassiest lady ever. It's just like, damn it! I told you to close the goddamn fucking door. Genius.
So he fights off the small group of cops, of which 50 more show up.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, 1 versus 50. I got this."
Yeah.
And then they all just shoot him.
Yeah. It's fucking fantastic.
But he's not dead.
Oh, and by the way, when he fights everyone, yes, they play Everybody Was Kung Fu Fighting.
Yep.
Because that's the movie we're watching.
Yeah. So Hammer and
And
Slammer.
yeah, he's not dead. We'll get to him.
No, that's the thing. Like,
Twice.
you would think.
Twice he shows up again.
Hammer and Slammer beat up Willie and a goon in a parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like that Hammer's like, "I don't know any kung fu," and the other goon's like, "I don't know any kung fu. You want to fake it?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, wah!" And then they're just
And they just like sort of like bitch slap each other. It's great.
Well, Slammer chases down Willie to get information of where Cheryl is.
Like you do.
Why was it Willie and the goon? Why did they? Because they had Willie and Leo, and they had the 2 other goons, but then they split them up.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very weird. Very weird.
Either way, so Kung Fu Joe shows up all bloody to Slade's place. Yeah, hits the fucking
It's the
buzzer,
buzzer.
To get to intercom on, and we hear Slade, "Well, like, hello," and then he explains that it was an ambush, and the cops try to get him, and they're gonna come for you too, and he goes on this long, like, "You need to really look out, Slade," and then it's just like, "I'm not home right now," and
It's like, haha, I got you. I'm not home. Oh, and he falls and presumably dies. That is not true.
no.
He comes back again, but we'll get there.
So Jack and company have a plan. They're gonna sneak in. This doesn't work out so
Nope,
well.
not at all.
Because they have the whole strapping up sequence where they're just like, they get all the guns and they, and Jack's all fucking geared out.
Jack's got the biggest gun
He
imaginable.
looks like fucking Rambo. And they're leaving, and Hammer slips on something,
Yep.
and he has like 50 guns on him, and they all go off.
Yeah.
And you would think he's dead, but no, again, no. He's
Yeah.
taken out of the movie,
But he's not dead. No one seems to die.
no.
Except for...
Well, when they get there,
Yeah. Unless you OG.
and they go on top of the roof, and Slade's got the plan of like, okay, I'm gonna go through the window, you guys go through the back door,
Yeah.
and we're all gonna meet in the middle. So he's got this pipe bomb that he lights.
Yeah.
He repels,
Yep. Yep.
blows up.
Well, you take too long.
And you think, like, again, you're like, so did he just fucking die?
Nope.
Nope. So all that's left is Slammer and Jake. Or Jack. And they're fighting bad guys, and fucking Slammer gets hit. But
Yeah.
it's not the bullet wound that stops him.
Yeah, no, he got...
It's his foot.
His foot. His...
He's got a bunion.
He's got a bunion, and it's just getting too bad. And it's like his foot is comically oversized at this point.
It's like a balloon.
Yeah.
And he's just like, ooh.
Yeah.
And he's like, so I'm out. You got to go on your own, kid. So it's just Jack by himself.
Yep.
Until Mama comes in with a fucking